this is going to be a tutorial on how to change your oil on a 3S GTE MR2 Turbo. So you'll need something to catch the oil in, a bit of genuine Toyota oil. I'm using 10W40, some people use a full synthetic, but I've gone for semi-synthetic genuine. And then the oil filter you need, you want to get a genuine Toyota one ideally, it's the same as the Lexus. 90915-YZZJ2. Ideally some sort of oil filter remover or an HDMI cable, which you wrap around and use that if you can't. But yeah, let's give it a go. So first, jack the car up and get something laid out, whether it's a piece of cardboard sheet or a big plastic cover, because it's going to get really messy. Once you're under the car, find the sump and locate that little 14-inch bolt that's sat in there and give it a crack. Right, once you've cracked it, loosen it by hand, but keep your hand against the back of it and push against it as it's coming out, because you're going to have a little cork gasket on the back of it, and also you don't want to lose the bolt in the oil. There's pressure, a lot of pressure right now. Just get to make sure this is underneath. 3, 2, 1, there it is. You can see a lot of lovely black oil pouring out. We're going to want to wait until it's literally just a tiny little drip. I've got consistent flow at the moment, although it's very little. But yeah, wait until it's just a small drip, and then we'll crack on up top. And yeah, by the looks of it, could be better, could be worse, but I don't see any chunks or anything floating around in there, so yeah, job's a good in. Now it's looking like it's just a drip now. Let's give that a wipe just in case it goes all over my drive. But yeah, it looks like it's just a drip, so this is the time you want to get your plug back in. So let's grab that. Get a new gasket for it if you want to be quite anal. I'm not that bothered if I'm honest. And that wants to be torqued to 29 pound-foot. But yeah, by hand will do to stop the drip. The car's back on the ground now. What you want to do, find the oil filter, it's right next to the downpipe. Yours will look a bit different if you've got stock. Shove something down there next to the oil filter, just so the oil that does spill out doesn't go everywhere. It will burn off eventually, but for the best that you try and mitigate that as much as you possibly can. So yeah, let's get our tool on there. Now it's worth checking if this rubber seal has all come off in one. It looks like it has for this, which is good. You'll see it's probably a little bit minging down there. But yeah, nothing too bad, not too much oil spilt. Now this is a sort of optional step, but it's best to prime your new filter with a small amount of oil, just so it sets in there a little bit better. It's a complete bro science, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I've seen a lot of people do it, so I'm going to do it. But yeah, lather a little bit, not a lot, because you don't want it to spill. You do have to flip the thing back upside down in a minute. But yeah, I'm assuming it's so it's easier to get off the next time if you get on this rubber, but I could be wrong. Now it's time to install the new filter. So just reverse the process you just did. You should feel it set on there as soon as it starts to thread. That's good news. And you just want to go hand tight as far as I know. Bit of an awkward spot in there, but as tight as you can possibly go by hand is what I'd assume is the best to do. Much easier with your left hand here. Much better leverage. Yeah, I'd recommend just chalking up your hands and going to town with it, but you can only really go so tight. You could use the tool again, try and torque it up somewhat, but I'd assume that'd be just fine. That's it, there's a new filter, a bit scratched up from where I was practicing using the tool. The 3S GTE takes 3.9 litres of oil, so roughly go off this. I'd always say go under rather than too much, so let's fill up to about 3 litres or 3.5 litres, and then very incrementally increase from then. and I'll show you what to do from there. Right, so I've got about 1.25 or 1.3 litres left, so I think it's around about time to check where the oil level's at. So you could just check the dipstick now, but I'm going to try and get a slightly more accurate reading. What I'm going to do is pull out this EFI fuse, which basically switches off your ECU, then turn the car over by hand. Obviously the car won't start, but it will prime the engine, get the oil flowing around a little bit, and then we'll get a reading from the dipstick. EFI fuse is out, so hopefully this is a decent angle. There we go. And you want to turn the car over for maybe 15 seconds, 10-15 seconds. Right, I was still getting a slightly low reading, so I'm going to fill up another 100 mil or 150 mil or something. Fuse is back in. Yes, now it's time to let the car run for about 30 seconds or so, and then we'll check the oil level again. That belt definitely needs adjusted. But yeah, let it run for another 10 seconds or so. Thank Christ that stopped. Then we'll have a look at the oil level again. Let's say that's probably good. So dipstick back out. Grab me. There she is. Okay, dipstick's going back in. That should be long enough that the oil's settled again. Giving it a few seconds. Let's have a look. Hopefully it's right around the full mark. It's still saying a little bit low. Just going to let the engine run for around 30 seconds and then take another look at the oil reading on the dipstick. Should be about right by now though. Ideally after running for about 30 seconds it's, you know, at or just below the max level. We'll see. Let's have a look here. That'll do. Right, where's my dipstick? Okay, car's been sat for about 10 seconds. Let's see if, Jesus Christ, it's a bit of a mission getting this back in here. Right, so dipstick's back in. Fingers crossed, it's right where it needs to be. Let's have a look. That will focus. There you go. Right where it wants to be, maybe 70% of the way across. Pretty happy with that. On a side note, these two gauges have just turned up. That's a AM AFR gauge and that's a AM boost gauge. But yeah, these two they're good bits of kit, so I'll be looking forward to installing these. And I'll probably put a video out on YouTube or TikTok showing how to do it. So yeah, I'll keep you posted. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it really. Obviously check underneath the car to see if you've got any leaks or anything from the sump plug. You may have a little bit of oil leaking down from the oil filter, but hopefully not if you've cleaned up well enough. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So yeah, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. and drop a comment if you've got any questions.